a lot of hard feelings, and sometimes people win, sometimes people don't. I've heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled December 15th.
I know you're expecting a settlement tomorrow in the lawsuit between the Securities and Exchange Commission and Ripple. The SEC's filing from 2020 alleged that Ripple Labs and two of its executives raised over $1.3 billion through an...
Two, I think the other thing limiting is really regulation, lack of regulatory clarity in the space. And that's really hindering DeFi. And that's...
Once the fifth wave of the blue comes into play, that's what takes us to the next 618, which is the 3.618, right near the initial highest probability wave 3 target for the white wave of the 1.618 at $10,000. And that...
And it's far from the Bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago. That is clearly shaking the system and reforming competition frameworks to ensure a level playing field in all sectors of the economy, whether traditional ones or new technologies.
There has to be a level playing field, both for new entrants as well as legacy entrants. And I think that's really, that I think is a fair playing field for everyone to play within.
It's like, why would we want this internet of value that puts everything on a level playing field?
Know what you hold?
On-demand liquidity. Where was Gary Gensler?
Enjoy the ride, pal.
If you got a bag, welcome to the party. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News. No breakfast, no coffee, just straight extra foolishness. Shout out to the latest sub. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. Go ahead, throw on those pilot shades and buckle up, because the future's extra foolish. And let's go full speed, full throttle into the cryptoverse. We got XRP currently right around 38.5 cents, down about 0.87% in the past 24. We got XLM about 8.5 cents, down almost 1% in the past 24. Taking a look at the total global cryptocurrency market cap today, 890 billion, down 0.2% in the past 24. We got BTC right around 17K still, ETH right around 1300. Anyone else getting the XRP is the only digital asset with clarity vibe? This would explain a lot of the Bitcoin maxi anger of late. We shall see. In a surprise AMA on December 10th, Cardano co-founder Charles Hoskinson predicted the date for Ripple versus SEC lawsuit settlement. We're getting closer than we think.
Fourth, I would believe that then Ethereum and Bitcoin would also be securities, and they'd be in a bigger debacle. And this problem with regulations through enforcement, there's not much you can do. Just any given Sunday, it's whoever the regulator decides to pick, and then there's a big fight. $100 million is spent. It's brutal and vicious, and a lot of hard feelings. And sometimes people win, sometimes people don't. I've heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled December 15th, and we'll just see. And that could have catastrophic implications for the industry, one way or the other. Fourth,
get those bags packed, locked and loaded. We got a long thread from John Deaton says, is Ripple going to lose because Library.com lost? He says, I predicted if Library lost, two things would happen. One, the SEC would rush the decision to Judge Torres acting as if the Supreme Court ruled. And two, people would come out of the shadows and claim Ripple and XRP will share the same fate. And that's exactly what we've seen. Many of these folks haven't read one brief in the case. The ones that did read the SEC's last brief, which in all honesty was the SEC's best work product in the case. It was better because it was a reply brief responding to Ripple's arguments. But if the corrupt SEC does somehow, some way win, Big Brad Garlandhouse says if we lose our lawsuit with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, we will leave the United States entirely. 11/14/2022 settlement expected. 11/15, they never explained what happened.
I know you're expecting a settlement tomorrow in the lawsuit between the Securities and Exchange Commission and Ripple. The SEC's filing from 2020 alleged that Ripple Labs and two of its executives raised over $1.3 billion through an unregistered digital securities offering. This is a separate case, but your thoughts on whether any of this has the potential to take down other markets like the stock market?
Absolutely, Maria. Well, it goes to your first point. When contagion happens, it's because everything is cross-collateralized and the system at large based on credit is so fragile. So we do see Bitcoin drawing down, and we can see other assets drawing down as people liquidate in order to cover cover their margins and their shorts. And so I think what's important to know about the SEC and Ripple, and it'll be interesting to see what the verdict will be, is that the SEC charged Ripple with violating securities law and argues that it passes the Howey test. It says that it's a common enterprise an investment contract, and a common enterprise. And the big thing I want people to remember, no matter what happens tomorrow, is right now you can go to Twitter or Google and you can find Ripple's CEO. And Ripple is the largest holder of its own token. Sound familiar? So if there's a CEO, if there's a company, if there's a pre-mine, a foundation, an ICO, it's not Bitcoin. And be careful trusting your life savings to a CEO.
We've heard it before. Tim R614 says, we've heard this a few times throughout the year. I need to see it to believe it these days. XRP, TikTok. We got 801 XRP, Fanboris, head of the DeFi Ripple. We're a corporation that works with highly regulated financial institutions with RippleNet that doesn't use DeFi but uses XRP's ledger, on-demand liquidity.
And Boris, tell us a bit, what Ripple is doing to, drive the adoption and the use case of, including maybe payments of DeFi forward.
Yeah, so on the DeFi side, we're really in a research capacity. We're a corporation that works with highly regulated financial institutions for RippleNet, which doesn't use DeFi, but it uses the XRP ledger, which is a blockchain. We've been working with institutions, highly regulated institutions from the start. And so we've always, if we're going to do something in DeFi, we're going to make sure that our target customers are comfortable with it. We want to make sure they're comfortable from a regulatory perspective, from a UX perspective, from a security perspective. So at this point, like I said, we're just in the research phase. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack there. Why institutions haven't gone to adopting DeFi? Primarily, I would say there's really two reasons. One is UX, right, has been pretty terrible. The onboarding process is really difficult. Institutions can figure out a way to enable that for everyone, right? It should be logging on to DeFi or interacting in a DeFi ecosystem should be as easy as going on your online banking account, right? Your mom, your grandmother should be able to do it.
If you know.
I think the other thing limiting is really regulation, lack of regulatory clarity in this. I think the other thing limiting is really regulation. Do it. Your mom, your grandmother should be able to do it. Two, I think the other thing limiting is really regulation, lack of regulatory clarity in the space. And that's really hindering DeFi. And that's
XRP. Clarity coming soon. If you know, you know. The next key dates are December 22nd and January 9th. Those are the dates that the parties will be filing motions to seal various exhibits, including the Hinman emails. And then on the 9th is the response to those motions, Rose XRP. So before XRP hits 10K, people start tweeting, show me the TA that predicted that. Well, here you go. We got part 1 of part 2, but let's go ahead and watch part 2 of part 2.
Which is sitting right on top of the 0.786 of the main fib extension, and that's at $28. All right, so if we just get the most probable fib extension hit on this wave 3 target, we're sitting at $28, and I think that's something that can come with the announcement of a settlement, right? That's how you get a lot of retail people out, not by dumping the price to 1 cent. No one's selling, right? We've all been here for too long. We've all seen it. We're not selling. We will sell when new all-time highs start to come, because everyone wants to get money, and that's what we're here for. So they pumped this thing up to $28 after the lawsuit. Boom, we get a little bit of a sell-off. But what's really going to happen is you're going to go hit your second 2618 extension, which is right near that 589 level. I mean, literally, this right here, where my cursors are at, is at 590. So just above the 2618. That's where this wave 3 for this one, this blue target here, that's where we're going to land, in my opinion. Because then you get the huge sell-off from all the riddlers, all the people that have been following the 589 and all that stuff that's been out there for all these years. They're going to say, we did it. See, we were right. We're not idiots. Boom. And they sell off. But in reality, they will be idiots, because that is just your wave, your blue wave 3. Once the 5th wave of the blue comes into play, that's what takes us to the next 618, which is the 3.618, right near the initial highest probability wave 3 target for the white wave of the 1.618 at $10,000. And that is how we get to 10K. See you soon.
10K, the end game. Most will be priced out at the first. Moonshot, know what you hold. Bags packed. Ledger City says Ledger City is coming. We're incorporating feedback from the Ledger citizens and we'll be releasing the game next year. Stay tuned for updates. We'll see you inside Ledger City. Revelers will play an integral role in the future of the holder experience within the BPM Wallet universe and ecosystem. We're building a multi-vertical company that at its core solves real-world problems within the event industry. Revelers are the first piece of the puzzle. Expector, with the Expector NFT mint live, this will free up 8,888 tokens from each participant from the pre-mint stage. With the XS lock program, you can use them to earn tokens, rewards, and more. Claim yours while you still can. We got the xShrooms NFTs now minting over at the XRP Cafe. 1,600 remaining NFTs available to mint with XRP at a discount very soon. IOU holders are the first to mint. We got XRP Rain Dancers. Ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. Tomorrow will be the start of the charity auction with the special rare trait, the Santa Hat. All profits will be donated to our friends at Together for Victor to help save the life of a beautiful 2-year-old boy. See the thread below for more info, Rain Dancers. Also, jump inside the Discord so you don't miss out on the first dibs. We got a Gala update. Any Gala node holders out there? The new cutoff date for the Gala node version 2 is January 18th, 2023, 6 p.m. Distributed ledger, level playing field, on-demand liquidity, and it's not the Bitcoins of the world. That's because XRP is clearly shaking the system. Enter the SEC lawsuit.
Enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto, assets, currencies, or whatever, and it enables...
All roads lead to interoperability, whatever it is. It's going to need a bridge to the other side. Distributed ledger, level playing fields, on-demand liquidity, know what you hold. HODL, that HODL, Big Brad Garland House, Christine Lagarde, liquidity crisis, enter XRP. Also, for those who didn't know, Joe Katz, David Schwartz was over in Antarctica about a year ago. The ship is amazing. We just cut into the ice, stopped, and put down the boarding stairs. Once again, almost 1 year ago, December 4th, 2021, David Schwartz says it's going to be a rough ride. And if we check out the XRP chart here, December 4th, 2021, when David Schwartz sent out that tweet out in Antarctica, we can see XRP almost 1 year here, down 55%, and XRP hit as low as about 66%, dropping down to about 29 cents. It's going to be a rough ride. We must be close.
With them offering on-demand liquidity.
On-demand liquidity to level the playing fields. Know what you hold.
It can be done in the most efficient, fair, and global way as possible, and that implies clearly a level playing field, no use of distortive measures, and no protectionist measures going forward.
No, this is intended to be a level playing field. Whether you're MoneyGram or you're a bank or you're an online or you're PayPal, this is intended to be a level playing field. And again,
that means reducing barriers to entry for new firms and reforming competition frameworks to ensure a level playing field in all sectors of the economy, whether traditional ones or new technologies.
There has to be a level playing field, both for new entrants as well as legacy entrants. And I think that's really, that I think is a fair playing field for everyone to play within.
Like, why would we want this internet of value that puts everything on a level playing field? And there's a couple reasons. So one of them is we think we can win on a level playing field.
Know what you hold, know what's coming. The level playing field, that on-demand liquidity, the liquidity crisis, XRP, hidden in plain sight. The one and only cryptocurrency that they'll want you with. Load up while you still have some time. The longer they take, the higher we climb on that XRP rich list. I am the XRP Bagman, the Moon Commander, currently up here.
Merry Christmas.
This Xmas give me Mas X. This Xmas give me Mas X. Ho ho ho. Happy holidays, getting that crypto raise, gonna blast off for days. Giving the gift that keeps on giving, Santa ain't gonna shy away. He's all about the X, and that ain't gonna change. Just see what happens next. His reindeer all ready to play. Rudolph's red nose runs on Ripple, and he's gonna light the way. Gonna light the way.
Merry, merry
Xmas. We high on that rich list. Big bag stuck in the chimney. Merry Xmas. I'm talking about Santa Claus bringing in them big gifts. Open up your ledger, see it's filled with them cryptics. I'm happy we made it. Bye bye all the haters. Rest in peace, incinerator. You got ate like a gator. Chomp chomp chomp. See you later. Rocket ship blast, cut you in half like a laser. Drop you off like a crater up in space.